Vampires are closing in from every side, yet even when all seems lost, the Fantastic Four will find a clever solution to the crisis. That's exactly what happens in Fantastic Four issue 22, which is the conclusion of a two-part narrative connected to Marvel's summer event, Blood Hunt. In this final installment, Reed Richards stands alone and weary, doing his utmost to shield a stadium full of people. The rest of the First family must narrowly escape a vampire onslaught before they exhaust themselves defending the survivors. This issue begins with Reed and the other survivors attempting to rest, with Reed having been pushed to his mental and physical limits while safeguarding them from the vampires. Suddenly, the stadium's protective full-spectrum lights shut down, leaving those terrified inside in complete, utter darkness. The doors burst open, and the glass above shatters as the vampires break into the stadium. Reed, within moments, extends his body to its limits, performing an incredible act by forming a massive makeshift tent to shield the survivors. He realizes he must push himself even further as the vampires breach the stadium under the cover of darkness. In this emergency stretch, Reed tears his own body for the first time, begins to bleed, and urgently tells Alicia they must retreat to the basement immediately, explaining there is no other option. Meanwhile, the Human Torch decides to go full-spectrum solar to protect the survivors and allow Invisible Woman to finally get some rest. After making some slight modifications, his strategy appears to be effective against the vampires. We return to Reed at the stadium, where he is forming a tunnel with his body to help Alicia and the other survivors reach the basement. Alicia points out to the readers that Reed's injuries are worsening, so he needs to contract to begin healing. Later, we see Sue, Ben, and Johnny working together to safeguard other survivors using a very innovative cart. We shift back to Alicia and Reed, where Alicia suggests to Reed that he needs to think creatively to counteract the vampiric epidemic. Taking her advice, Reed uses some of the stadium's technology to invent a cellular resonator that he believes might counteract the vampiric cells of the infected. They manage to reach a location where they can test the resonator, and it proves successful. Suddenly, the skies start to clear, and Reed, although very much elated, is uncertain how his resonator could have achieved that. He realizes that someone else must have helped disperse the dark force and scatter the vampires. Perhaps Sue or Johnny, maybe even Tony. But then a very familiar and ominous voice comes over every speaker and screen, even those that are turned off. The voice says, "Your attention, please. The vampire threat is over, and this world, our world, is safe once more." The harrowing voice continues, "And you have but one man to thank. Earth's new superior sorcerer supreme, Victor Von Doom. Doom will have much to announce very soon."